Imagine a world in which every single person that you knew was a multi-millionaire, able to do anything and everything that they wished and that they dreamed of their entire life ever since they were a kid. That means buying the extremely expensive sports car, that means buying the multi-million dollar house and having millions of dollars in investments and in net worth and all this good stuff. And then imagine how realistic that sounds. It probably sounds like that's impossible. And I would agree with that logic. I sit sometimes when it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm scrolling through my accounts, through my investment portfolios. I start calculating how much money I spent this month versus last month, how much money I'll have left over. Will I have a little bit extra money to invest into something extra? I start pondering all of these things. And it's always late at night. It's always when I need to be sleeping. And I guess that's when all my stresses and worries activate. But then it makes me wonder, am I going to be one of the people that is basically never going to be rich? Now, one thing that I'll say is that I personally go about my life trying to do things that most people, especially in America, they don't do. I would consider that I'm a kind of person that does, in fact, live paycheck to paycheck, but that doesn't mean that I can't scrape away a couple of dollars and put it into my high yield savings account and a couple other dollars to put away into a Roth IRA and maybe just whatever is left over into a taxable brokerage account. And so there comes a point in time when you also start wondering, is what I'm doing correct? Should I focus more on this? Should I focus more on that? Etc., etc., etc. A lot of people that I know, they are in massive credit card debt. They are always spending money. They are not trying to save money. And a lot of these people, they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and up. There are very few people that are financially literate. I'm sure that we can see this in the Caleb Hammer show, the iced coffee hour, these people that are trying to basically expose that most Americans, they just don't really think about their future. Even in my own family, there are people who would much rather explore short-term happiness instead of long-term happiness because right now the pleasure is available. I can have fun. I can enjoy my life right now. Technically speaking, not a single one of us is promised tomorrow. Any one of us can just not wake up in the morning. Some of us can, God forbid, have a horrible accident. Anything can happen at any given moment. So I do understand the mindset, and I sort of empathize with the mindset of people who they're like, why would I do this? Like, why would I spend all this money and rather save all this money? I misspoke. Save all this money and work so hard to save all this money. And basically, I'm just going to die tomorrow. And then who's going to get that money? For me, the mindset's a little bit different. For me, my goal is to build up a legacy. And I wonder how much of a legacy I can build because I always picture myself in the same position, which is a video I'll make it in another time, talking about how we truly feel like we're stuck in one position for the rest of our lives without ever considering the fact that we could grow. Most people who are entrepreneurs or most people who've made a lot of money in their life, they were comfortable enough to move from one position to another. But regardless, that's a completely different video for a different day. The point here is that a lot of us, especially people watching, and me, basically 2 years ago, we didn't consider our future selves. We didn't consider, hey, in 10 years from now, I might want to buy an apartment, or I want to buy a property, or I might want to invest in a business, or I might want to take a 1 month vacation, or even a week vacation. I want to be able to do that for myself. And if you're constantly piling up credit card debt, you're never going to attain that. You're never going to see or feel any real accomplishment in your life if you're not focused on growing your money. The only way to grow your money, literally, is to just sacrifice. You have to sacrifice something. Even if it's $10 every single month, that's something. That's something that in 15 to 30 to 50 years from now, it'll grow a lot. And especially if you're starting young, like 18, 20, 25, even 30, that's still considered young. Imagine 30 years from now, you'll be 60, that's roughly the retirement age anyway, and you'll have however much money you have. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not going to sit and calculate all that, but at the end of the day, you'll have some money left over. There are so many options available to us. People like to stuff their money into their mattress and for a rainy day, take that money instead, put it into a high yield savings account. Have that money grow month over month, year over year. It might not be a lot. Some of the high yield savings accounts right now are offering 3.8%. For example, my account is with Live Oak Bank. You can choose whichever one you want. There are ways in which you can grow your money. There are ways out of this little rut that you find yourself in, thinking, how will I ever get rich? Instead of sitting and thinking about how, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just take the $5 or the $10 that you spend on an Uber or on your coffee or whatever the case may be, and just take that money and allocate it right away into some sort of broad market fund or a high yield savings account? At the end of the day, I'm not a financial advisor. I literally, like I said, just started about 2 years ago myself. So I'm new to the game of trying to grow my money. But realistically speaking, not every single one of us will be rich. Some of us are dealt a bad hand. Some of us are not as privileged as others. Some of us have things going on in our lives where we just don't know what's coming tomorrow. I live paycheck to paycheck. I say that comfortably. I say that with no regrets, with no feeling of being judged, because that's basically most Americans. When I found out that most Americans don't even have $400 saved up, it struck me really, really like harshly, because that's a scary world to live in. If you don't even have $400 to your name, that means that God forbid something happens, like something in your house breaks or something on your car gets ruined or you need a new tire, you need money. So that means, technically speaking, you're putting yourself into debt in order to fix something instead of just having that available for you. Right now I'm trying to go away for the weekend with my wife in like 2 months. So I put myself a task for the next 2 months. I'm going to allocate just a small amount of money for that weekend trip so that when it does come around, I don't feel the expenses as harshly as I would if I just one shot spent it all. At the end of the day, we have to be able to set goals for ourselves and then try to obtain them. If you do something steadily but surely, you will get there. You might not feel a big difference the first year. You might not even feel a big difference the first 5 years. But then slowly but surely, when you open up your account and you see you finally saved up your first $5,000, you look at your account and you're like, wow, I still remember the first time, which was literally last year, when I opened up an account and I saw $10,000 in that account. The loud music. That's called New York City, guys. That's literally New York. My window's open. It's raining. And obviously, my neighbor across the street loves to listen to extremely loud music. But I love that. Can't even make a video without extra noise. But where was I? At the end of the day, when I saw my account at $10,000, I was shocked that I was even able to do that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was able to do everything on my own. I don't even believe that most people are capable of doing things on their own. I'm grateful and very privileged in the fact that I've had a lot of help from my parents, from my older brother, from my wife's parents. And I wouldn't even say 100% of it is just them fully giving me money, but they've helped. They've helped in many, many ways. They've helped with furniture in the apartment. They've helped with getting us dishes for our apartment, like all these kind of things. It helps. Imagine spending right off the bat. You got married and now you have to spend like 8 to 10 grand on furniture. That's a huge expense. And then imagine having the privilege of having someone buy that for you. Now imagine yourself, if you don't have that privilege, and I'm capable of admitting that most people don't have a privilege like that, and I know that it's something that I have to really, really, appreciate, because most people don't. One thing that I will say, though, is that imagine you don't have that. And let's just say, assuming that you don't have anyone in your corner to help you out whatsoever. That should drive you even more to become successful, because God willing, you will have children one day, and those children are going to rely on someone. And if they rely on someone, it better be you. And if it's you, that means that you have to be able to help them and help provide them with a beautiful and sustenance life. Sustenance? I hope that's the correct word. Ultimately speaking, we are responsible not only for ourselves, but we are responsible for our future. I was talking about this with my friend the other day. When our parents immigrated here from their respective countries. They came here legally. They did everything by the books. They waited years and years and years. They came here with pennies in their pockets. And somehow, some way, my parents are right about to finish off paying their first ever mortgage. My father is obviously in his 60s now. My mom is pushing 60. And they've obtained a certain level of their own American dream. Now, their goal was to give us a better life. Now, they've definitely succeeded because they started with nothing and they were great savers. They were great financially. My father never spent more than $100 on sneakers. My father to this day literally shops on AliExpress and like all these like Temu and stuff like that. He literally shop for cheap. He's never gonna go buy himself Gucci shoes or Louis Vuitton. He doesn't have a name brand watch. He doesn't have a Rolex on his wrist. But because he lives frugally, he was able to help put my brother through college, put me through college. He was able to have a asset like a huge apartment in his name. He was able to pay it off. He was able to have beautiful birthday parties for us, bar mitzvahs, weddings, all this stuff. When you live frugally and you're able to get yourself something nice but for cheap, you're able to do that. Now, there are people out there that they want the nice fancy watch, they want the nice fancy car, but they don't have the means to do so. And so maybe they put themselves into debt to get that, and it's all for show. But ultimately speaking, what is the quality of your life when you're living that way? And I can greatly say that a person like my father and my mother, the quality of their life is exceptional, simply because their greatest happiness is our success. And that kind of ties into that conversation I was having with my friend, because now our definition of success is obviously going to be like our children's success, because me and him were talking about having kids, and I'm one of the few people in our group, our friend group at least, that does have a child. My brother has multiple children as well. And at the end of the day, the whole goal is that our kids are going to be even better off than we are. But there's no way that's ever going to happen if we don't not only attain the respective dream for our parents, which is for us to succeed, but then we have to maximize on that success and make sure that we have enough in the pool to give more to our kids. And then that's how generational wealth is built. Will we all be successful at that? Maybe not, but we can make it easier on ourselves. The goal at the end of the day isn't to become a multi-millionaire and have like $35 million in your bank account. That's very rare and probably not going to happen for either one of us. I can say that confidently. Sure, do I have a lot of business ideas? Sure. Do I have a lot of connections? Sure. But that only takes you so far. I hear crazy stories at my job of people that just got married and their husband died and then they like got $30 million. I hear random stories about people that married into a family, got divorced, and then got $30 million. Like, you know what I mean? Or someone gets married into a rich family and that rich family takes care of them. Things happen of that nature, sure. But those are very few. There's very few situations in which a person just started a company and then it popped off and went crazy. Does it happen? Sure. The percentages are really small though. So most likely, the people that are watching this video, myself included, making this video, are probably not going to be rich. At least not the rich that we're thinking of. Like with the multi-millions, we're not going to be that Elon Musk rich. It's never going to happen. I shouldn't say never. Sorry. It's most likely not going to happen. But that doesn't mean that we can't build a lifestyle good enough for us to live comfortably, for us to have children, afford those children, and to be able to give our kids a really good life for when they have their start with their life and their partners, and when they want to have kids, we are going to be there to help them out. And we're going to make their life easier so that when it's time for them to grow and raise their families, it can be even easier on them. And that's how the cycle progressively builds. And then maybe, just maybe, one of our kids or grandkids or great-grandkids will be that ultimate rich person, and it's all because of us. It has to start somewhere. So maybe in our lifetime we won't see $1 million, ever. Maybe we won't see 5 million. Maybe we won't see 10 million. But we could see the success of ourselves if we refocus what we mean when we say successful, what we mean when we say financially free, and when we are able to pass that down from generation to generation, I can say confidently that those future generations will be rich. And it all starts with us. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope today was better than yesterday, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.